Hi everyone, welcome back to Business on the Beach, and today's topic is practical optimism. And the reason why I add practical optimism in there is because there are so many people that are talking themselves into doing things that almost delude them into thinking that they can do something just by thinking that they can do it. A lot of the time, yes, you are convincing yourself before you start to convince others. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree that a lot of the things that we try and do is convince ourselves of something before we then actually convince others. But you have to back it up. You can't just be optimistic. You can't just convince yourself that it's all fairies and rainbows and everything's amazing until you start to back it up with actions. I can't tell you how many conversations that I've had with people around this, and it always comes down to the fact that they're struggling because they're trying to convince themselves of something that they're taking no action towards. You've got to back up what you're thinking with action. You've got to back up what you tell yourself by what you do. Because the problem with it, and this is something that people may or may not realize, but you actually lose faith in yourself the more of a difference that there is, right, between your thoughts and your actions. So if there's a big difference between your thoughts and your actions, then your brain picks up on that, and your brain doesn't like that. So what you've got to do, what you've got to figure out is how to actually put it into place. You've got to figure out how you can do this thing. You've got to figure out how you can actually get yourself into a state whereby you're doing something. You've got to get yourself into a state whereby you're taking action and backing up your ideas, your concepts, your thoughts, your feelings with actions. It's very, very hard to do. It's not easy. But if you don't do it, you will always start to, you'll feel it, you will notice it, you'll feel there's a massive disconnect between what you think and what you're actually doing, and it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not straightforward. It's very, very hard to actually put yourself in that state whereby it's doable. And most people struggle here. Most people do struggle. They do have an element of, well, I've got to talk myself into it at first because I don't have that idea yet. I don't have that. So how can I believe in myself before I've actually done it? How can I believe in myself before I've actually started to take those steps? And the truth is you've got to just be aware that it is going to feel strange at first. You've got to be aware enough to know that it is going to feel weird. It is going to feel like there is that disconnect. So there's almost this element of you've got to be okay not feeling completely in alignment in the first instance. So alignment isn't something you jump into. Alignment is something that you find. Alignment is something that you gradually put yourself in. Happens over time. People think that there's no such thing as time almost, and you can just dive straight into it. And that's not 100% practical, because the world can move on. The world can give you signs and symptoms that things could be otherwise, but you've got to still do it. You still got to put yourself there. And we're playing with fire because people don't realize this. And when they come up against resistance, or when it's not as easy as they first thought, or maybe like they start convincing themselves that it's never going to work, you got to realize that that is actually part of the process. That is actually part of this idea of being practical with it. Being practical is about understanding that things take a process, that things have a journey, that things have an element of, okay, these are the steps that you've got to take. If you spend a lot of time talking yourself out of it, a lot of time talking yourself into a position whereby you're struggling, that's also part of it. Growing pains, right? This idea that it's going to always be easy, always be straightforward, always be in a straight line in terms of progress is just not actually practical. So, and also when you think about it, telling yourself that you've got to be optimistic all the time is also a very, very difficult thing to do because we're human. We have ups and downs. I have ups and downs. Everyone listening to this will have ups and downs as well. You know, you can't put yourself in a position whereby you've got too high expectations. Because if you do that, what happens is unless you meet those, you're going to feel unhappy, you're going to feel depressed, you're going to struggle, not because you can't do it, not because you won't do it, because you're expecting more from yourself than you can actually give right now. Now, some people have the opposite. Some people expect nothing, they don't think they can do anything, but secretly they're more powerful than they think. They can do more than they realize, they can be more than they originally thought possible, but that's very close to, well, how do I back it up with actions? It's all well and good saying that, Mike, but, right? So that's what you've got to think about. You've got to factor that in. You can't just go about your day hoping that things work out. You've got to actually make them work out. You've got to make the effort. You've got to back your thoughts up with actions. And the best way to do that is to actually go for it. It's to actually think about, okay, who would I need to be? What would I need to do? What would I need to think? And then you start making the plan, and then you start taking those actions there and then, and things will work out. Only if, because you get the results of your actions, but your actions are the results of your thoughts and feelings. This is why I specialize in the mental game of things, because it's a further downstream thing that can ripple out across your entire business. And that's what you've got to do. That's what you've got to put into place. Right? And if you want some help with this, let me know. I do host things in my Facebook group that are free, but I also take on one-to-one clients. And I also have Productivity Monthly, which is my monthly membership platform whereby you get access to me, you get access to accountability every single week. We get together monthly, virtually, on a mastermind call every single month, and you can ask me questions and actually get the help from other people who are also in the membership as well. So let me know if you want access to that. It's very, very beneficial for people that want to achieve things, they want to push themselves, but they struggle with accountability, they struggle with pushing themselves, they struggle with trying to get the support that they need, but they also want it long term. So it isn't a short term thing, this is a long term endeavor. So if you're wanting to get involved, you're understanding that this is also part of the journey. You're here for the journey. You're not here to be a millionaire overnight. You're here to put the work in to be a millionaire, and it takes as long as it takes. Hopefully you have an amazing day. Share this one out. Tell people about practical optimism. Hopefully you have an amazing day. It's been amazing to chat to you, and I look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon.